What's up, homies? Let's talk about stratocasters versus telecasters. This is a subject that I always like to research and figure more about. I still want a telecaster, but they're harder to buy on the used market because people just buy them up. Let's be honest, like, we all buy a Strat because it's not as heavy. Like, if you go to a guitar store and you try guitars, the Strat is way lighter and it's more comfortable and it has one extra pickup. So, between those two factors of being lighter and having one extra pickup and being exactly the same price, you just always go for the Strat. Everybody does. And then you get it and you notice everybody else has a Strat, and then there's that guy that bought the Telly, and you kind of look at him like, I kind of like that thing too, you know? You get that feeling. Like, hey, he has one. Like when you're a little kid, you know? And that's exactly what happens. You go to Craigslist and you're like, oh, I'll just trade my Strat for a Telecaster. Nope, nobody wants to do that. Oh, I'll just buy one. Nobody wants to sell theirs. If they sell theirs, they sell it really like expensive and beat down. So you always end up having to buy your own new Telecaster. I found one the other day for $80. I didn't react in time, and the other guy, he bought it and put it back on Craigslist for $350. I was like, man, really? But that's what happens in the Telecaster game. There's entire guitar companies that just make only Telecasters because there's a few different ones that you can actually make. A no-caster, or like the very, very first one that didn't even have a truss rod in the neck. Esquires, which are single pickup Telecasters, kind of. It came out before the Telecaster, but people like those too. You know, there's a nostalgia angle, so that's why people like it. But I'm trying to say that there is something different to the tone, and it's mostly all in the bridge. Like the way the bridge is mounted to the body is entirely relatable, and also the body weight. And people don't, you know, want to agree with me there, but the body weight in relation to the neck, and the neck is thinner on a Telecaster, will vibrate the neck harder than on a Stratocaster where the body's lighter and the vibrations between the neck and the body are going to be more equalized. So that's my own personal little thing I threw in there. But I've read it all. I've read it all. And I've played it all. And I've touched it all. These 1957 Strat necks are really nice. And, you know, Telecaster necks are a little bit easier to make chords with. It depends on the size of your hands whether you're going to like a Strat or a Telecaster. A Telecaster is like a little bit thinner, but it's not always that noticeable. It's slightly different, but the sound of the Telecaster is directly related to the way the bridge is mounted to the body. It's screwed into the body, and the bridge is like that big, and it's all metal. So out of it being all metal and bolted down to the body, it gives it a metallic sound. And Telecasters don't have that whammy bar and springs going through the back for the tone to decay through. It goes straight into the wood. The strings go through the body and they stick into the wood. Basically, they go into these little metal ferrules, but the ferrules go straight into the wood. And there are a few Telecasters that just use a hardtail, which means it's a top loader. It goes through the top, but that's just a few of them. A lot of the newer ones have it. This doesn't make too much difference, really. A Telecaster still kind of sounds the same, and that's why I say it's related to how you screw it into the body and how the Strat's tone decays through the springs and the claw and the two bolts that go into the body eventually. So it's a player's choice. I like Stratocasters a little bit more just because they're a lot lighter. And I like the Telecaster neck. That's why I have a Strat with a Telecaster neck on it.